the public. The committee meeting will be recorded and broadcast throughout Parliament buildings and online. Members, you are welcome to use mobile phone devices as long as they are in airplane mode and all devices are muted. It is not permitted to take photographs or record any of the meeting. Members, just double checking to see if anyone has any interest to declare in relation to today's meeting. No, thank you. Apologies. We have apologies today from our Deputy Chair, Sinead Ennis, from William Irwin and Cara Hunter and Trevor Clark. Sorry, I was trying to remember everything there. And Robbie Butler joins us online today. I don't think there's any other apologies. That's all of us. Oh, Cara, didn't I say? Cara isn't here today. Moving on then to agenda item 3, which is our draft minutes. And the draft minutes of the meeting pack held on the 9th of October are at pages 43 to 50 of your meeting pack. Members, just checking to see if you're content with that the minutes are a true reflection of our meeting. Yeah, thank you. That being the case, I will sign the minutes. Thank you. Agenda item 4 then. Further information from Michael Cairns, the acting head of communications, has come to us following the electronic voting demonstration that we had on the 25th of September. Michael Cairns, the Assembly Head of Communications, has provided a response to several queries raised by members during the demonstration of the infrastructure that's currently in place in the Assembly Chamber to facilitate electronic voting. The response can be found at page 52 of your meeting pack. We did ask Mr Cairns if a further demonstration of the infrastructure could be provided to any interested parties or members, and he has now advised that related travel and accommodation costs for 2 system specialists would have to be found from the Parliamentary Services budget, as the Communications Department does not have funding for this. The reason for that is because, for those of you who attended the demonstration, the TV systems were set up and they were able to talk through what the system could do. Just to advise you that regarding the availability of contractors, Mr Cairns has indicated that further development of the system in the Chamber, should it be favoured, would be done by the contractor Squared Paper. Their present contract relationship with the Communications Department will end shortly as the committee room refurbishment project winds down. The small number of card readers that were installed during the refurbishment project, along with the wiring, are to provide some future proofing should the Assembly decide at some stage that it wishes to move to electronic voting using that card system. Full delivery would require a new financial agreement and a new business case for the Assembly Commission, which I think we all recognise that there may have to be further investment there. So members, just to note the position regarding the contractors, and I want to seek your views now on whether we should proceed with a further demonstration of the infrastructure in the Chamber for any interested members or parties. Do you think that would be useful? I think it would be. Having seen it, it'd give me a little bit more satisfaction of how that system would work, or electronic voting system could work. Now, that's not to say that we will be using a card system. We may well have an app, or we may look at it and the buttons are enough. But do you think it would be worthwhile to bring these guys back, pay the money and let them do a demonstration for other members? What do you think?
Do we want to wait until after the trip to Scotland, and then would that be? Well,
we have to find out if these guys are available. I'm not sure exactly when their contract ends, but you know, if they're looking for the work. Do you want to wait then until after the Scottish trip to see what we think about? Yeah. Okay. Well, there's no point in us going to Scotland without bringing something back from that. So in Scotland, we'll know how they get on with their card readers and what they currently use. Okay. We'll maybe defer that decision until later. What I would say is, if in the future, I think, if they do come back, I think that we should be asking Communications for them to come back an afternoon and a morning. So say, for instance, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, because then it would give more people, it's not during plenary, and it would give more members who will be on a Wednesday or Thursday coming up to this place to do committee meetings, to give the 2 day, you know, a spread 24 hours over the 2 days, you know, if to give as much possible. But that's only in the future if we decide we want to have that approach, but we'll do that after Scotland. So it'll probably be in December then we'll look at that again.
Just as they say in law, without prejudice,
Yeah.
the likelihood of us actually introducing the system, that if we thought that no, we're not likely to be introducing this system either because of cost or otherwise, there's no point in us going through that sort of
You're right, yeah. You are
setup.
right.
You know, so that's what I think we need to be taking into consideration.
Absolutely.
Other than that, it's just throwing good money after bad.
Absolutely, yeah. Annie?
Sorry, I missed the demonstration. How many people attended? Was it?
There was just a few of ourselves and some of the, like Gary McGrath and Paul Gill were there, so there's a number of members of the Assembly staff.
Committee members here.
And the next time it'll be able to all members.
Well, that was the question asked to Michael. Was it possible to do another demonstration that would open it up to any parties or members who were interested just to see it?
Yeah, but as Militia says, there's no point in throwing good money at something if we decide that it's not going to be
Or
appropriate.
if we had major reservations or that about it, either in terms of the actual system itself, but in particular, we'll say the cost of implementing the system and that as well.
So we'll bring it back after we've been over to visit the Scottish Parliament to look at their systems. So it'll be the meeting maybe after that in December. Thank you. Agenda item 5 now, we're moving on to the review of the committee's strategic priorities, our agreed approach. Members, earlier in this meeting, the committee discussed the paper summarising the review of the committee's priority areas of work that took place on the 25th of September and the views expressed by parties on the preferential order of the 3 longer term areas of work. Members, the note of the review session is at pages 7 to 20 of the meeting pack. Members, are you content to agree the changes to the shorter term priority areas of work as set out in the note of the review session?
Content.
Yes, thank you. And ask members, can you let me know if you agree to include the additional area of work proposed by Claire Sugden to the longer term list of potential work items? Yep. I think we'll write to Claire and just confirm for her that thank you for her input, and we've added it on to our potential work areas. So members, do you agree that the priority order of the longer term priority areas of work should be progressed as discussed earlier in the meeting? So earlier in the meeting we decided that proxy voting for other specific circumstances such as long-term illness, bereavement and absence from the Assembly for permitted business, and we'll have to define what that is. That will be first, then electronic voting, and we will have a site visit to the Scottish Parliament to review what they use, and then after that the third one was the oral questions. Agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. We will undertake to have a review of our priorities in September 2025, so we'll be working through those. Agenda item 6 then is our forward work programme. Page 55 of your meeting pack, you'll see a forward work programme reflecting updates for the meeting on the 13th of November can be found, as you see there, at 55. Members, are you content to go on ahead with that work programme then?
Yeah.
Thank you. An updated forward work programme will be developed to progress the shorter term and longer term priority areas of work agreed by the committee and will be considered then on the 13th of November. The clerk's memo on the proposed study visit to the Scottish Parliament can be found at pages 56 to 59 of the meeting pack. The memo outlines the intended outcomes of the visit, the provisional programme, travel arrangements, details on who will be travelling and the estimated travel costs. The Scottish Parliament International Relations Office has agreed to organise and host the main elements of the visit. A provisional programme has been drawn up and can be found at paragraph 6 of the clerk's memo at pages 57 and 58 of the meeting pack. As part of that provisional programme, a meeting with the presiding officer following our arrival at the Parliament on Wednesday morning and lunch with the Standards, Procedures and Public Appointments Committee have been included. Our time will be tight that day, so we need to go straight to the meeting with the presiding officer, just because we need to tie in with their processes that are happening in Parliament that day. The final programme for the visit will be brought back to the committee for approval. Members, the arrangements for meetings with party whips to discuss their perspective of proxy voting and electronic voting systems in place in the Scottish Parliament will need to be taken forward separately from the International Relations Office. There is time for these meetings on Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning or early Thursday afternoon. So I'm just seeking the agreement of members for the committee to write to those whips requesting meetings to discuss their views and perspective on electronic voting. Members, just to confirm, if you individually on behalf of your parties wish to meet anyone else, whips or otherwise, outside of these meetings, you're perfectly welcome to do so. I think the most information that we can glean from the visit possible would be really useful. So I know that I have other contacts within the Scottish Government that I may want to have a chat to, but we will write as a committee to the whips to say that we would love to meet them to have a discussion just to find out what they have, and that would be useful for the committee to hear. But if you do feel it would be useful to have a chat to some of the whips independently, then that's, please do go on ahead and arrange that yourselves. But members, the committee has already agreed to travel to Scotland on Wednesday the 4th of December and return on Thursday the 5th of December. The proposed travel arrangements, including flight and hotel accommodation, are set out at paragraphs 8 to 10 of the Clerk's memo at pages 58 and 59 of the meeting pack. The estimated cost of the study visit based on 8 members and 4 staff travelling is at Appendix 1 at pages 60 and 61 of the pack. So we're still waiting on a few responses to come through, and I think we know now, Orlia, what your decision is. We need to hear back from our Deputy Chair. And Robbie, I think you're intending that you are going?
Yep.
Yep. So
He's going to the Christmas market.
Robbie's going to the Christmas market, yeah. We'll all follow him on the Wednesday night. But just if we can get that feedback, all members need to confirm their attendance with the committee clerks before the flights and accommodation can be booked. So we'll chase up with Sinead then as well. I think that Sinead's the only person then we need to get.
I think she indicated to me yesterday she was unlikely to go, but
Okay.
we will confirm instead.
Yeah. And at that stage, in the next couple of days, we'll also be contacting you. We will need your exact name as it appears on your travel ID, whether that's your passport or your driver's license, so that we can make sure that the ticket and the flight booking all match up. But we'll contact you in due course with that.
The next thing we need to do is to agree the travel cost. Now, this is the estimated cost that was based on 8 travelling plus 4 staff. It was £5,733.28. It will be cheaper than that because we won't have all of the committee going. So the cost per person, as a rough estimate, are about £478 per person. So it's just to get approval from the committee if you're content for the costs, and of course we'll get the updated costs now that we know who's going and all that sort of stuff. Are members content for that?
Just through the chair, we meet at the airport on the day, do we? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will provide you with a travel pack with all the information on where you're staying, all the contact details, your flight information, your travel information, everything. So we'll provide you with all of that. But we'll all meet at the airport and travel together.
Okay. I know it's quite an expensive trip, but I think electronic voting is very expensive, so it would be useful to do that research and to see in person and to hear from other politicians on how they use their systems and what system did they used to use and which one they currently use. So it is expensive, but there aren't as many of us going. So the maximum amount would have been 5733.28, but that will be down now. So it's just to get your approval that it will be no more than that. Yep. Okay.
We hope. We haven't booked.
Yes.
This is all estimates.
Yes.
So as soon as sometimes when you go to book things, prices change.
I know.
Really,
Then agenda item 7 is correspondence. There are currently no items of correspondence to cover. Agenda item 8 is chairperson's business. As you're aware, the new standing order 27A on proxy voting was agreed in the Assembly chamber yesterday, and can I just thank everybody for their investment and time and effort to get that forward, and especially to our clerks and to all the staff. It was a lot of work has gone into this. I hope that the background work of this will actually help us with our next long-term piece, which is the next piece on proxy voting. I think that this will make a massive difference to parents and help to, as it was said in the chamber yesterday, will help others who are planning a family or have a young family to come into politics. As I said, we don't enjoy terms and conditions of employment like others do, so if we can do anything that can help people, and it's one tiny little part of our role, and it just means that the democratic process can be maintained if someone needs to be out of the chamber because of maternity, paternity, adoption and fostering leave, or bereavement or problems with pregnancy. So thank you very much for that. The new Standing Order 27A is included in the standing orders published on the website, and the committee report is also now published on the website. Hard copy sections of standing orders will be printed and provided to members in due course. And just to remind everyone, we are still awaiting the Speaker's guidance on that, so it will come into effect as soon as that guidance is provided, which when the Deputy Chair and myself met with the Speaker and his team, they indicated it would be turned around quite quickly. I'm not say a deadline on that, a couple of weeks to a month. So we look forward to that coming forward. I think whenever that comes through, it'd be handy if we can maybe ask when we write to the Speaker to confirm that it's over to him now, if he can ensure that copies of that guidance are made available to all the MLAs. Agenda item 9 then is any other business. Does anyone have anything else that they wish to raise with regards to procedures? No. Next meeting then is Wednesday the 13th of November at 10 o'clock in room 21, and between now and then, please note, for those who are travelling to Scotland, the clerks will be in contact to confirm the name that's going to be used on travel documents, and we'll get that booking arranged. For now then, members, it's quite amazing. Today our meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. And we'll...
Committee Room 21. Sound.